how for long I've always said the dynamic the relationship between housing and the economy. I have proven authorities to quote on the relationship between housing. The first is a housing market dynamics in Africa. The foreword to that book was written by former coordinating minister for the economy and Minister of Finance Nigeria, Dr. Okonjo Iweala. So here goes. In the first paragraph, it says, the continent's population of 1.18 billion is projected to double by 2050, with the region urbanizing faster than any other in the world. And I'll jump further. However, the benefits of urbanization will materialize only if policymakers adopt effective urban policies to address urban infrastructure and severe housing deficits. So, in essence, the benefits of that rapid urbanization will only come only as the keyword when policymakers pay attention to infrastructure development and housing. So in the closing paragraph, she goes with, it is my hope that this book will spur further discussions on the important link between the housing sector, number one, job creation, number two, and economic inclusion, number three. The African Development Bank has a critical role to play in assertively pushing this important source of growth. Doing so will contribute in industrializing Africa and improving the quality of life for the people of Africa. How is African Development Bank related? Or what makes African Development Bank that important to this housing deliberation? In the book titled Housing and SDGs in Urban Africa, there's a chapter in that book that is titled The Road Not Taken, Policy and Politics of Housing Management in Africa. And this chapter was written by Abiodun Anthony Olowoyeye. And the first line of that abstract says housing is central to meeting the sustainable development goals in Africa, but to how that is important to African Development Bank. About midpoint into that abstract, it says, this study notes that the foundation of the problem of housing was laid when, at independence, politicians and policymakers missed the opportunity to implement the recommendations of the expert committee of the Economic Commissions for Africa at its 1963 meeting. Now, what is the relevance of the ECA in 1963? Now, if you go through the minutes of that 1963 recommendations, you will not see anywhere that it mentioned housing. But the core of that meeting centers on driving and achieving economic sustainability of Africa as one entity. And as a result of that meeting, the OAU then and the African Development Bank was founded. This brings us back to the connection of housing and economy. And this is why Dr. Kudu recommended that the African Development Bank must play a part in ensuring the delivery of housing if it is going to achieve its critical role of sustainable economic development in Africa. The true relationship is a straightforward symbiotic relationship between housing first, economic second. I hope this helps.